Hello everybody, my name is Ragat. Welcome back my channel Health Fitness 1047. Here is the episode new. Follow me.
There's just something magnetic about gemstones, right? That sparkle, the depth of color,
Oh, definitely.
the feeling that they hold secrets from deep within the earth.
Absolutely. They're geological wonders, sure. Miniature packages of time and pressure. But they also carry, immense human history, culture, and value.
And today, we're doing a deep dive specifically into the vibrant world of gemstones and the bustling industry that surrounds them in Vietnam. We've got a really interesting stack of sources here that you've shared with us, giving us a kind of multifaceted view.
That's right. We're pulling from, the scientific precision found in a gemological lab, like Gem Lab,
Okay.
then exploring how gems are integrated into daily life through retailers like IJC and TT Gemstone, including some customer perspectives, which are quite telling,
Mm-hmm.
and then plunging into the raw, challenging reality of buying rough stones. We've got a source like the Ruby vlog for that.
It's like following the journey of Gem.
Mm-hmm.
From the mine through the lab right onto someone's finger or maybe an altar. So our mission is to kind of cut through the information, extract the most compelling nuggets, connect the dots between these different worlds,
Yeah.
and help you understand what's truly important and perhaps surprising about this captivating market. Okay, let's unpack this.
It's quite a journey, filled with science, belief, and significant risk. And perhaps the most fundamental part, the very foundation of trust in this industry, relies on understanding exactly what a stone is.
Which naturally brings us to the lab, doesn't it?
Bullshit.
The scientific bedrock.
Mm-hmm.
The sources highlight DOJ Lab, a major player in gemology and jewelry over there, established back in 2009, and then a big upgrade in 2012.
Right. Their core business is verification, identification. They identify diamonds, colored stones, precious metals, finished jewelry. Think of it as giving each stone its definitive passport, really.
A passport, I like that.
And a really practical service they offer mentioned in the sources is this online certificate lookup. So you can actually verify a gem's credentials yourself.
So how do they actually do that? What kind of tech lets them look, inside a stone and tell you its secrets? The sources mention a whole suite of advanced instruments.
It's quite an arsenal, yeah. They use tools like spectroscopes and FTIR, that's Fourier Transform Infrared Spectroscopy.
Wow. Okay.
DOJ Lab apparently pioneered its use locally, which is interesting. These analyze how light interacts with the stone, revealing its chemical fingerprint, essentially. They also use refractometers and polariscopes to measure how light bends or behaves as it passes through. That helps identify the material.
Makes sense.
And of course, the essential microscope and loop for visual inspection, looking at inclusions, structure, plus specific gravity scales to measure density. Each tool reveals a different property, building up that complete picture.
And it sounds like their work isn't just theoretical. It's directly tackling real-world problems you see in the market.
Exactly. Their research, those lab notes bulletins mentioned in the sources, they focus on identifying things that can trip up buyers and sellers, the pitfalls.
But what specifically?
Like spotting synthetic gems, lab-grown diamonds made via CVD or HPHT processes.
Right, the lab grown that.
Or differentiating them from these hybrid diamonds that have layers of natural and synthetic growth. It gets complicated.
Yeah.
They also detect treatments. Heat applied to ruby, for instance, or irradiation used on ruby or sapphire. Treatments can dramatically change the look and the value.
And fakes, too. Imitations.
Oh, yeah. Identifying imitations like, say, emeralds filled with resin to hide cracks, or spotting synthetic opals. They have to be sharp.
They even mentioned some unique, almost poetic findings in their research. Things like inclusions described as bonghua, trongmua, flowers in the rain in sapphire.
Yes, and spotting metal inclusions in pearls. Plus, highlighting specific notable materials from Vietnam, like cobalt spinel from Yen Bai, or explaining phenomena like color zoning in Brancaja sapphire. What these specific examples tell us is that the challenges are constantly evolving, as technology does. New synthetics, new treatments appear all the time. So the lab has to constantly innovate, update their methods just to stay one step ahead, to maintain that consumer confidence.
It raises that question. How does the science keep pace with human ingenuity in creating fakes or enhancements?
It requires continuous dedication, constant research.
And their role isn't just analysis, it's education too, right? The sources talk about their courses, online and in person, basic diamond, basic gemology, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And the perspective shared there is that gemology is this incredibly diverse field. It mixes science, business, art, history, even tourism.
Right.
Challenging, they say, but never dull.
I can imagine.
And tying it all together, DOJ Lab even has a museum. It holds significant specimens, both Vietnamese and international finds. The sources describe it quite beautifully, actually. A place storing the essence of the earth and celebrating human love for gemstones adds that layer of appreciation beyond just the technical specs.
So you have this world of incredible scientific precision, verifying a stone's identity, its history. Now, how does that verified sparkling object actually become part of people's lives? Let's move from the lab bench to the human connection, drawing from retailers like IJC, TT Gemstone, and Rocks White VN.
Right. This is where the intrinsic properties of the stone meet personal meaning, cultural beliefs. It's a whole different dimension. Gems aren't just analyzed, they are desired, worn, and often believed to have, well, power or influence.
And the sources show the sheer variety of how they're used. The classic jewelry forms, obviously. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, necklaces.
Yeah, all the usual suspects.
Using a wide range of stones. Precious gems, pearls, CZ, diamonds. You see it all in IJC and TT Gemstone. Wedding jewelry and engagement rings are clearly a major focus too.
But a central thread connecting these retailers, highlighted again and again in the sources, is the strong emphasis on feng shui, personal compatibility.
It's fascinating how deeply this is integrated into the buying process, isn't it?
It really is. Gems and jewelry are presented and often chosen based on the buyer's elemental compatibility. Kim, Mark, Thu, Hoa, Tho, the 5 elements.
Wow.
Or their zodiac sign, birth month, even numerology sometimes. The idea is to select a stone that's believed to align with and enhance your personal energy, your destiny even.
And this goes well beyond personal adornment, like jewelry.
Oh, much further. Sources like TT Gemstone and Roxien showcase this vast array of feng shui objects. Statues Buddha, auspicious animals like Pixiu, the money toad, dragons.
Okay, you see those a lot.
Various carved items, spheres made of quartz, obsidian, jade, symbols of wealth like money trees, little boats, ingots, the list goes on.
And these aren't just decorative pieces, are they? They're explicitly marketed with the intention of bringing luck, prosperity, peace, protection, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. TT Gemstone even mentions some products are blessed, which adds a whole spiritual dimension to the transaction itself. This side of the industry beautifully illustrates how aesthetics, deeply held traditions, personal beliefs, and, well, commerce are all woven together. The value of a stone here isn't just its carat weight or clarity, it's its perceived power and compatibility with the individual.
And you get a real sense of this from the customer testimonials in the sources.
Yeah.
People talk about appreciating the wide selection, the unique designs.
Yeah, they do, and they value the expertise of the staff, especially in guiding their feng shui choices. That comes up quite a bit.
Some even attribute positive life changes, like improvements in business or well-being, to wearing or using these items.
And the business practices matter too. IJC's buyback policy, for example, is mentioned positively. That adds a layer of trust and flexibility for the customer, which is smart.
It's a world where scientific fact meets ancient tradition, beauty meets belief. Quite a mix. But what about before any of this? Before the lab, before the retail store, before the stone is polished and set? Let's go back to the very beginning, drawing from that Ruby vlog source. The risky, unpredictable world of buying rough stones.
Ah, yes. This segment gives us a completely different perspective. It's raw, often messy. A stark contrast to the controlled environments we've just discussed. Buying rough, known locally as mahbat or doth, literally opening the bowl or pouring the stone, it's essentially a high-stakes gamble, often done in places like the Luqian market.
And the source makes it crystal clear. It's nowhere near as simple as seeing a nice-looking rough stone online or something. The real challenge is assessing the potential value hidden inside.
Exactly. The experienced buyers, as the source calls them, they use specific practical techniques. The most critical one, detailed in the source, involves using the light. They describe it kind of humorously as chokdita, which means something like stabbing the stone with light.
Okay.
And the key isn't just whether the stone lights up. The critical thing is whether the light is absorbed into the stone, hutan sang den valtran,
Absorbed, okay.
or if it just bounces off the surface. If the light goes deep inside, it suggests potential clarity, areas of theta stone flesh that can actually be cut into a valuable gem. If it just reflects, well, it might be useless.
You're looking for that inner glow, essentially.
Pretty much. They look for internal clues, eyes, or promising zones within the rush. The source distinguishes between rough that's good for cutting, thanks to and material that's only suitable for displaying as a crystal specimen,
Right.
And then there's this dismissive term, fufong, for stones that look big but are essentially worthless, maybe even deceptive, like air.
And internal flaws must be huge factors too. Cracks.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Severe cracks, called dung or net, can mean a stone just can't be cut into a beautiful faceted gem. Facet. It might only yield a polished cabochon, hang cabochon, which generally has less value. And color, obviously, is a key indicator, potential too.
The recurring theme in that source seems to be that while experience in assessing these visual cues is absolutely vital, it's just not enough.
Not even close. Success in buying rough requires a significant amount of luck. So man, plain old luck.
And the source doesn't pull any punches about the reality, does it?
Yeah.
It says the best rough material is often snapped up by those experienced dealers anyway.
Yeah, the pros get the good stuff first.
And even those experts face substantial losses. The source says, "Dakwon de chikon de indo," meaning the pros lose a lot too. It's not easy money.
It's a stark warning.
They describe the financial risk as "nimtien kwakasol," literally throwing money out the window.
It really highlights the fundamental gamble at the very start of the gemstone supply chain, doesn't it? The ultimate value of a rough stone is uncertain until it's actually processed. And navigating that uncertainty requires this blend of skill, intuition, and pure chance. It contrasts so sharply with the measured precision of the lab or the polished presentation of the retail store.
Right. So the goal, when looking at rough, really comes down to that assessment. Is there potential for high-value faceted stones, or are we just looking at cabochons? Each requires a different eye, carries different risks.
Thinking about it, it's quite remarkable how these three worlds, the high-tech laboratory, the market steeped in tradition and belief, and the speculative high-risk rough trade are all essential parts of the same ecosystem. The system that brings a stone from deep underground to becoming, a cherished object.
It really gives you a new appreciation for every sparkling gem you see. They've been verified by cutting-edge equipment, maybe chosen for personal significance based on ancient beliefs, and pulled from the earth through these risky endeavors that rely as much on luck as on skill. It's quite the journey.
So, considering this entire path from the geologically formed raw material assessed in a gamble, to the precisely identified specimen in a lab, to the object chosen for beauty, belief, and personal destiny in a market, what does this unique blend of science, tradition, risk, and aspiration tell you about the enduring human fascination with these glittering treasures? Something to think about.